So let's break it down to some practical strategies or tools. So if I'm a professional listening to this and think, okay, yeah, I definitely need to be more focused and more disciplined,
Yeah.
then where do those priority lies? What do I need to do?
So it really depends on the environment, the challenges, and what you're hoping to achieve. But sort of generic things that you can start. I generally encourage you to start. If we talk about in the outer dimension first, start by doing a bit of an audit and having a look like where is my focus going at the moment, and what is fracturing my focus.
Mm,
Is it you can do that with a little focus journal, a little table that you create just for a couple of days. You can just note down what fractured my focus, and if you find categories of things like colleagues and technology and Slack and whatever it may be, you can then that'll create a little bit of a map where you can start to go and orientate to where you want to give some attention to improve some strategies.
mm,
Often one of the biggest culprits is email, which is constantly pinging at us. And the simplest thing you can do is simply turn that ping off.
yeah.
Tiny, tiny little action, and all of a sudden that ping, which was maybe 100 times a day at 30 seconds or 60 seconds, I think it's 67 seconds from memory is the average time it takes a person to respond and get back to what they were doing after the ping of email. That's all of a sudden 100 of those per day that automatically disappears. And if we find a couple of those leaky taps, for us as individuals or maybe as teams or organizations, there's some changes that can be made. Then that's sort of a way to just start the process in the
Yeah.
external environment.
Yeah.
In the internal, in the second dimension of interspace, there's two real areas, that sort of practical ways that you can, or that I'd suggest at the surface level that I can give away in 30 seconds to start
Yeah.
to kind of dial into. One is focus training, and I guess you're doing a type of this with martial arts, and that is it's not as deep as mindfulness or meditation, but it's just bringing your focus back to a key object for a specific period of time, and that's going to start to strengthen some neural networks around focus. That's You're doing the same thing in mindfulness or meditation. You might go deeper into deeper states, but that's a sort of a deeper exploration. But simply just bringing your focus back to an object. I love stones, for example, so I've got stones all over my desks and all over the place, and that's an item that I really like. But
Mm,
breath is another really common item that's used in a whole variety of different contexts. But that's just a focus training. Another item in the sort of inner space is understanding how our focus organically changes throughout the day, because we don't wake up like a computer and we're constantly performing at the same level. So as we start to decode those cycles, we can tune into them and leverage them for our advantage.
mm,
Um, so there's some sort of examples in the inner space, and sort of a 30-second snap away in the interdimension would be, I think, one of the most powerful things is sleep.
mm,
So over or so underrated. So we take it for granted. It's the first thing we sacrifice when we need to get more things done. It's the first thing we sacrifice, as students when we have exams coming up. But the impact that focus has on all cognitive functions. So the impact that sleep has on all cognitive functions, that it has on focus, on memory, on decision making, on decision quality, like all of these things are impacted by sleep. And really prioritizing and optimizing and building an environment or processes that really help you sleep is and sleep well is an area that pays, in my experience, big dividends. Even when
mm,
companies help staff sleep,
mm,
it can pay big dividends back to the company because all of their cognitive functions are boosted as a consequence of it.
mm.
So, in terms of a quick a snapshot of things that could be done at the practical level, there's a few that might be useful for some of
Yeah.
your audience.